Your life starts changing and shifting when you're no longer running away from anything in your past. And that works on all aspects of life. Meaning, if you're still running away from that bad toxic relationship, if you're still running away from that failed business, from bad money relationship, from that uncertain or unsafe childhood, it means that you are still experiencing blockages in where it has to do with that specific aspect, and it means that you're not yet ready to experience the higher version of that thing. It means you're not yet ready to experience a healthy, loving relationship. You're not yet ready to have better money relationship for more financial abundance. You're not yet ready to manifest stability and safety in your life because you're still being defined and controlled by that thing. And so let this video be a gentle reminder as to whether you had healed your past traumas, your past blockages, as to whether you are ready to move on from your past and experience a new reality, experience a shift in your reality, a higher state of being. Or are you still being defined and controlled by your past? And if so, what can you do about it? What should you do about it in order for you to move on, in order for you to heal that blockage that you've buried so deep down in your essence that it became an integral part of you, and you kept feeding for a long period of time, for years, for months, for weeks even. You're feeding it with fear. You've been feeding it with fear, with stress, with agony, with madness, with anger, with hatred, with despite, self-victimization, self-pity. And all of those emotions, you've been feeding it with that energy over and over again, that it became a limiting factor in your life that you're unable to move past. And so the most important, or the main question you ought to ask yourself is, would I do it all over again if I could make that choice? Would you choose to experience that terrifying experience that terrorized you for that specific period of time? Would you choose to go all over again through that past trauma if you had the ability to make the choice? Or do you cower in fear, or do you cringe at just the thought of it whenever you're reminded by that experience, And that gives you a very good initial sign as to whether you had healed it or not, as to whether you're ready to move on or not, as to whether it still defines you. Are you still defined by that past? Because if you are, it means that you cannot shift from it. It means that you have set a limiting factor every time when it comes to that thing. This is my limitation, and I'm not ready to go past that point because it's so hurtful. Are you ready? Would you choose to experience all that suffering, all that struggle all over again, knowing full on well that you're going to end up with the same outcome? If your answer is yes, this is a very good sign that you had moved on, that you are on your healing journey, and that you are about to manifest a higher reality, a higher version of that thing. But if you just think about it, if you're able to think about your past and you cower in fear, you hate it, you hate yourself, you hate the experience, you hate everyone that was involved, because you hate the experience, it means that you are controlled by it. And the more power anything has over you, the less able you are to move on from it. It means that it still is an integral part of your life, and it has to keep on manifesting and manifesting. And that's where the universe chooses to test you. That's where you have to be tested. If you're on the journey of moving on, if you are on the journey of awakening and growth and development and evolvement, and you seek that inspiration, you seek that enlightenment, that awakening, it means that you are seeking a bigger path, a more grandiose path, and all those little things are going to be manifested in order to serve your purpose towards that path, in order to serve your higher meaning, your higher purpose, which is your path, your journey of healing and awakening and enlightenment. So if you're still being controlled, the more you vibrate on the energy of that thing, the more it has power to control you. The bigger, in other words, the bigger the signal you send that you're not under the control of anything, the bigger your chance to move on to a higher reality, to shift your reality, to align with your higher self, to align with your higher state of being, to vibrate on higher frequency. The bigger the signal that you're not under the control of anything, the more you're able to move on from that thing. The more you're able to receive intuition, the more open you are to receive intuition and inspiration and passion to manifest other things, better versions of that thing in your life, because you are now opening yourself. You're not controlled by this specific, other words, you don't have cords of energy towards fear of that thing. You're not living in threat of that thing. Your energy is not spread away. You're not spreading cords of energy towards endless events that happened in your past. And now your energy is condensed. And you're ready to move past your past. Your energy is condensed and has the ability to create, to manifest better things for your future. And another important thing to note is that you might think that you had moved on from that thing. You might think that because you've hated it so much while it was happening, you've despised it, you rejected it, you resisted it while it was going on, that you're never going to experience it again, that it's not going to be a recurring pattern in your life. But you couldn't be more mistaken, especially in that thing, because the more energy you had fed it, the more negative energy you fed it, the more control it has over you, and the deeper it was buried. It's already happened. Are you ready to experience it again? It's already happened. You already felt all of those emotions. How did you move on? Ask yourself that. Because if you coped with it all the time while it was happening, you've coped your way through it, with endless coping mechanisms, aimless hanging, binge watching, drinking, gaming, whatever it is for you. Just not thinking about it, ignoring it completely. It still happened, and it still had that effect on your nervous system. It still terrorized you for that long. It still served as a threat. Were you in threat of evacuating your home, of losing your home, of losing your job, of losing your partner, of losing your business, of losing your money? You've invested so much of yourself, of your energy, of your love, of your money, of your essence in something, and now it's gone and it hurt you so much. Or whatever traumatizing experience you had experienced. It happened. If you did not heal it, if you did not feel the whole range of emotions, the whole spectrum of emotions that has to do with that specific thing, then it means it's still there. And if it's still there, although you might ignore it, although you might cope with it, you're still defined by it. You're still under its control. A very good inspection that you could do is, how do you feel the first thing in the morning? Inspect, how do you feel? Think about your feelings the first thing in the morning. What do you feel in your guts? And I'm going to come in a moment just to how do you deal with it? How do you actually heal it? How do you handle such a thing? Deeply embedded traumas from your past. But inspect yourself first thing in the morning when you first open your eyes, because that's the purest you're going to be while you're still awake. Untainted by thoughts, untainted by social media. Your brain still is waking up. Do you wake up in fear? Do you wake up gasping for air? Are you even able to take a breath without gasping for air? That tells you how much trauma is stored within your body. Are you able to take a breath? A full-on breath. A breath of light, a breath of life, without gasping for air, without feeling some blockages in your lungs, in your stomach, in your abdominal, in your lower abdominal. But when you inspect yourself in the morning, Do you feel fear? Do you feel stress? Do you feel bored? Do you feel hatred? Do you feel bad for yourself? Self-pity? Do you still live in that victim? Are you still victimized? Are you still in threat? Is your body telling you that it's in threat? Because the first thing in the morning is just purely your subconscious. Almost purely your subconscious. Before your brain, your conscious kicks in. Your ideas, your thoughts, your routine, your phone. And then, it's ignored, it's coped with already, it's already avoided and rejected and resisted and continued to be buried deep down. That will also serve as a good sign as to whether you had healed your past traumas or not yet. And that's why healers, energy healers, life coaches, if you listen to some, if you've watched some, if you've been following some, if you've met with any, like for example Dr. Joe Dispenza, if you went to any of his retreats and the thousands of testimonials, he cured thousands of people, cured from fatal diseases, from chronic diseases, from money problems, from relationship problems, their life completely transformed just by being, by not through any effort, surely internal effort on working on yourself, but nothing external. They have healed, they've manifested hundreds of thousands, they've healed from fatal diseases. Some who were blind were able to see, those who were not able to walk ever again, were told that they were not going to walk ever again, were able to walk. Curing deafness, relationships manifesting the loves of their life. And what's a recurring theme in his healing, in his meditations? Because mainly the healing aspect of his retreat is meditation. Different aspects and different forms and different ways of meditation. It's very enlightening, when you contemplate it, when you ponder over it. There's a lot to deduce from the fact that is happening. How much could you change your life by just being that thing? By just working on yourself internally? I would never be able to stress that enough, to emphasize on that enough. Focus on yourself, focus on working on yourself, and everything externally will just follow. If you observe your life closely, you will notice that in every aspect of your life. But the recurring theme in his healing program is that you move the energy from the lower chakras, from your lower energy centers, the root chakra, the sacral chakra, the solar plexus. Those are the three main chakras in which the trauma energy is stored. Those are where mainly the blockages are stored, because it happens and you analyze it and you absorb it with your higher chakras, with your mind, with your brain, with your high energy centers, and then you cannot deal with it in your brain, you cannot deal with it in your heart, you cannot deal with it in your throat, so you just bury it deep down, the deepest point you could, where it has to do with your survival, the root chakra, with your life energy, with your motivation, with your zealous to live, with your excitement for life. And then it remains as a blockage, as a limiting factor that you cannot imagine yourself going beyond. Otherwise, your survival is going to be threatened. Lots of problems are going to happen, because you might have thought that you have got rid of it, you've ridden yourself of it, but it still lays there as a point that you could never overcome. It terrified you so much, it traumatized you so much that you limited yourself from going beyond that point. And that's why you're not able to experience the higher version of those things you're trying to manifest, of those things that had hurt you in the past. But in his healing methods or techniques, you move that energy that's stored in your deep chakras, in your deep energy centers. You focus on moving it, you give it your attention, your mind attention, but more so your heart attention. Feel it, see it, know what it means for it to move. from your root chakra to your sacral chakra to your solar plexus to your heart, all the way to your head from which they have arrived, from which they have come in, and then breathe it out, all while utilizing your breath. So it's breath work meditation. Take a deep breath while squeezing your butt and squeezing your abdominal and your lower chakra, your root chakra area, your perineal area, moving it all the way up. Focus your attention on moving that energy over and over again, even from your feet. Imagine breathing in air and light from your foot, moving through your legs to your perineal area, to your abdominal, to your head, to life, to the universe, to the stars, and then replaced with different pure light energy. There's a reason why it works in that way. There is a reason why it works in such a manner, and why thousands have healed utilizing that way, utilizing that technique, because you release all of that pent-up energy that has been fed with negativity, with fear, with stress, with agony, with hatred, with despite for life and for yourself and for the outcomes and for the events. You're releasing all of that and you're replacing it with pure conscious energy. You're giving consciousness to all aspects of yourself. You're giving consciousness to your energy. You're giving attention to who you truly are. Intention, attention, and consciousness. To replacing that energy, to releasing that energy, replacing it with a higher version of it, with a healed version of it. You are a magnet of energy. You are a magnet to energy. And you always magnetize energy. When you do it consciously, you choose the specific type of energy that enters in your body, that enters into your essence, that becomes an integral part of your life. And now you become able to shift your reality. You have more energy to create, to manifest whatever you are trying to, whatever you desire. You have more in your essence to create. Now you're ready to shift your reality, to move higher, to shift to a higher state of being, to shift to higher frequency emotions, to shift to a better reality, And so always be aware of what you feed with energy, what you put your attention on, because you could feed it with the energy of love, bliss, joy, and replace it simultaneously, or you could feed it with fear, hatred, despite, anger, and bury it deep down just by your attention, just by focusing on it, just by feeling it, just by being it, just by thinking it. Wherever you put your attention, your energy follows. You follow your energy, your black, dark, negative energy out of your body, and release it and heal your past until you're able to say, I would go for it all over again, because I know how much it have helped me, how much it had served my purpose, how much I healed through it, how much more I became aware of through it. Until you're able to think of it as a memory of the past with love, with joy, with bliss, while maintaining your same high vibe frequency, and not cowering in fear or cringing or hating life or hating it for being a part of your life, for terrorizing you, for terrifying you. And that's when you're ready to shift your reality. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in to another video by AF's Conscious Frequency. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel, because it helps me so much, and it helps this video find its way to many more others who might actually need it.